Yo, what's up, everybody? Getting into a Bitcoin analysis stream. Just getting set up here, but yeah. Yo, good to have you guys in tonight. Just going over the markets. We're going over KNUCKLEMANIA happening on February 7th. So in about 2 weeks here. Hope you guys had a nice week, man. I streamed on Wednesday. Had a little bit of like a bullish outlook that I'm gonna go over, like seeing that Bitcoin dumped earlier today. So we're gonna go over that. Good to see you guys in the chats. Jungle Beast, Jelly Bean, and Drew. Let's see here. So the KNUCKLEMANIA, first things first, guys. My brother and I are still sponsoring bare knuckle fights. So we've been with Ben Rothwell for a number of years. He's 4-0. We sponsored like all of his fights so far. And we almost didn't sponsor this fight, but he got us seats anyways. And that kindness rubbed, like, we reciprocated that kindness and we said, all right, we're going to do this again, man. So my brother and I are going to be in Philadelphia once again. It's like a weird repeat of last year, right? Like last year, I was in Philly at the same time for a Ben Rothwell fight. So it feels like a complete repeat. There's like fractals going on, not only in the Bitcoin chart, but like in my life as well. And yeah, we're going to go over like if there's any hope in the charts. I actually am still remaining hopeful. I know that I'm kind of like beating a dead horse here, but I'll go over what I'm seeing. But yeah, man, this card is super stacked for BKFC. Like I know that it's not UFC, but bare knuckle is like better than UFC in my opinion. Like I go to these fights all the time and it's more entertaining than a UFC fight. And also it's like more personal. Like the people that you hang out with and meet at these events, you'll actually become their friend. Man, I hope the music's like not too loud. It's a little loud for me, but I can put up with it as long as you guys can. Yeah, man. So I had like a bullish outlook. I was laying down this trade on my last stream where I thought like this low would hold. And obviously that low did not hold. So rip to anyone who was on leverage with a clear invalidation level behind that low. But I did tell you guys that I wasn't hitting this particular play with leverage. I'm hitting this with an option here. So this is my Bitcoin option that I got. And this is, I'm dabbling into these like more short-term options here. So this is a small play. Just want to see how it plays out. And also if it does play out, it'll be like a very small risk for a pretty large reward. So I have this options play. It expires on Feb 20. So I have a little bit of time left before my bullishness is invalidated, so I'm gonna go over what I'm seeing in the chart. Jellybean says she can only hear me. Man, this music's like so loud for me. I need to like figure that out. I don't know how to fix that, but yeah, man. So this trade that we have going on here, this got stopped out, and I think a lot of traders were in this trade, and so now we're seeing this bounce back. Like now that this trade is done and done for and dusted, what are retail traders doing at this point? What types of trades are they placing at this point? To me, this move, I saw it turning a lot of people bearish. It kind of took out the wind in my sails too. It made me a little bit hopeless. You know what I mean? I was feeling a little hopeless when this was going down. But now what I'm seeing now is like a little bit of a pump back in here. So we'll take our levels here. What we're seeing here is that we're still well within December's range. So last month's range is between this low that was formed right here on December 1st, and then the high that was formed, like these highs here, around 95K that were formed here. So we're actually still range bound, guys. It's actually like not doom and gloom, death and destruction yet, unless December's low gets lost, and then you're probably taking out you know, the last quarter's low, and you are getting that C setup, that sweeping of the previous quarter's candle low there. But for the time being, we're still in this range, guys. There were some little local signals that I was looking at that looked like maybe they could be hopeful, like these little daily supports. I thought maybe there was a chance that we cling to some of these, but it didn't work out. So now we're coming into a new week, and we have this new prior weekly low to contend with, this orange line here, guys. So technically this is a level where you would, like, if it does get taken and then reclaimed in the next like 24 hours, that's a nice bullish sign, and also like an advantageous area to enter a long, in my opinion, just based on like my system and like throughout the weeks. If you take last quarter's high or low and then you see reclaiming back into the weekly range, like something like this, and then you come back into like that right there is like a nice long setup sometimes. So we might be nearing a little bit of a bottom here after taking out all this liquidity right here, because we're still in this December range, guys. So let me know what you think, man. Am I like delusional right now for still having hope even after getting beaten down so many times? Let me know what you guys think, man. But last RTNC, to answer your question, man, I still have some hope, and my money is, I put my money where my mouth is. I have a February 20 call option, hoping that Bitcoin goes back up to basically the top of this range, back up to like 98 in like the next week or so, or like the next week or two, man. Like I'm really hoping that it can get back up there. But Drew says higher lows still intact. Yeah, for the time being, guys, for the time being, higher lows are still intact here, until like unless we straight up lose the December range low, you know. I think it's quite interesting that last quarter's low was actually at the end of November, so December was actually quite a range bound month. So that's a whole month of range right there to potentially work off of support, you know. Crypto Crank, man, shout out to Crypto Crank. So Crypto Crank's been doing really great. He just had his first, I don't know if it's your first, but you just nailed some crazy trades, bro. Like he just nailed some 100K P&L trades, leverage trades, and scalps too, man. Like I'm more of a swing trader, so my ideas, I stew on them for days or like sometimes even weeks sometimes. Crank is he's in there on the scalp time frames, really getting shit, and he's got a hungry little VIP of hungry traders. But man, I'm proud of you, and I'm also very happy for you, man, because you're a really humble guy, and I can tell that, like, man, I'm starting to sound fucking cheesy right now, bro, but I could just tell that you know the struggle, man, and you deserve that 110%, man. Hope you took some profit off the table, and hope you're sitting pretty, man. But Crank says that he closed 50%. Let's see. We had the plan to long from this exact area. Also the golden pocket. Pull a fib from 80k to 98k. All right, let's see what we're working with this fib. Man, you know, I have to say, Crank, yeah, this is the golden retracement, man. This is that 60 or 70, that 6-7 territory where there could be a bounce in here. I usually don't like to take the 618. Like, I prefer to wait for that 786 retracement, man, not gonna lie. So, you know, maybe, especially because what is now last week's low is down here. Taking that out and just wiping out anybody who's like long too quick on too high leverage and getting down there is actually getting down there to the 786 is actually like well within, you know, you could do that and then reclaim up here like that, and that would be some good strength. So that would be something that I would look to observe in the next like 24 hours. You know, you just take out some of these stops here, but the prior quarterly low actually remains intact. It is a possibility. Okay, he's saying to add the 0.65. What the hell, bro? You're getting into some deep game knowledge, bro. I don't know this. I don't know the 6.5 extension, dude. I've never heard about the 6.5 before, man. But shit, man. Hopefully it plays out. But let's take a look at some of these bigger time frames here. We'll start big. We'll start on the monthly chart. Smooth hiking Ashi. Oh my gosh, guys. Look what happened here on the monthly. So this pump up to that 98k level was lining up perfectly with the monthly hike in Ashi, smoothed. This actually doesn't look that good, guys. Looks like the monthly trend itself, if you smooth it out. See how the candles here have turned black? So we got a black confirmation right there. And now we're getting this slightly larger, smoothed, bearish candle here, potentially, if the month closes down here. So look for this monthly close. If we are continuing to close under these red, smooth, macro trend candles, then you could start seeing momentum like accelerating to the downside. That's actually like a serious risk right now based on this chart. When I look at the market cipher monthly momentum, you know, we've lost that runaway train status. Money flow is still green. And you know, I'm hoping on this yellow oscillator clipping back up to the zero line there, but man, there's no guarantee, man. And these monthly closes, they take so long to confirm that, man, anything could happen. Jax Wins is talking about a weekly red dot. And yeah, I would say that this monthly stuff, guys, is pretty significant. Like, look how strong the monthly trend on Bitcoin was ever since I caught my ex cheating on me in like the beginning of 2022. Let's see when I kicked my ex out, like literally at the literal bear market low here. And then there was only like 2 more black candles, and then boom, the bull market was on, and that didn't stop until like literally last month. You know what I'm saying? So man, it has been a good ride, but you could argue that like the bull run has ended off of like just this smooth Heiken Ashi trend alone. So it's been a wild ride, man. The 100K push-up challenge, doing all the work with Platinum Mike Perry, growing my YouTube channel from nothing. It's been a wild ride, man. Meeting all of you guys, it's been a huge pleasure to be a part of the Market Cypher family, you know. But yeah, man, that's the monthly. Looking a little bit freaky, bro. And look at that 2-week, man. You guys were right. You guys in the chat were right about this 2-week chart not looking good, because that thing was clipping and it was looking promising. But we are in this 2-week Heiken Ashi downtrend, and I am kind of an idiot for going against it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, man. Definitely. Oh, let's go to the weekly chart here. Yeah, man. I mean, look at that momentum just turning back. We actually got a red dot here. It's not confirmed. It's kind of an ugly situation because the clipping here looks like it was confirmed, but this red dot is still deciding itself. The RSIs, what I don't like about these RSIs is if this red snaps down and catches up to that purple RSI, that probably will coincide with a dump. So my gosh, man, these macro oscillators, like this should turn around, man. This doesn't look so good. Look at that money flow. The money flow has officially drained out for the first time since October of 2023. I should be more hopeless now. That's I actually need to be more of a doomer and more depressed. I for some reason I'm like, I don't know if I'm having a manic episode, but I've been very positive in my life recently, getting back on track and taking care of myself. So like I'm bullish on myself, and maybe I'm making a mistake of putting that on Bitcoin, man, because Bitcoin is still, it's still this shit's crazy, bro. Audio Man says pull a fib from all-time high to the low. In a bear market, the 382 is the resistance to watch out for. If we can't reclaim, likely more downside. All right, let's take a peek at it, man. Yeah, man. When it comes to, like, when it came to the actual top, I was in there with you guys. We were putting out Sunday updates, catching it. It was just a weekly SFP, a super free type of topping pattern. And we had some good trades on the way down too. But I don't know, man. Lately, I just, this year so far, this month has been bad. Like, I actually had like 12 different opportunities in my life that I put, each one I put like, you know, 1,500 here, 1,500 there. I got marketing, I got all this stuff going on, and like nothing has like generated fruit for me this month. So it's been kind of tough, even though I've remained very positive. But oh my gosh, look at this guy. This guy in the chat was right, man. If you pull a fib from the top to the bottom, we came up and we tapped that 382, and that was like a perfect resistance right there. That was that moment, dude. That was that weird high in the middle of the week, bro. A random Wednesday top. Like, when does the top happen on a Wednesday, bro? Usually, like, you get a new week, and on Monday, you sweep last week's high, and then that's the top on Monday or maybe Tuesday. But this Wednesday high was so goofy. And there was more confluence, bro. There was other things going on there. Like, if I pull up Leapfrog, there was other things I should have been paying attention to in that moment. For instance, Right now, guys, we're looking at the big anchored VWAPs. So we got a new month. We got the month of January, and it pumped right up to last quarter's VWAP right here. So I was hoping for that yearly leap. I was hoping for us to go from the New Year's VWAP back up to last year's VWAP, but it looks like the Q4 VWAP kind of stole the show here, and it was just a quarterly leap. Just price jumping from the VWAP from one big 3M candle to the previous 3M candle. So, I mean, that's a really strong confluence that we got right there. What about a VWAP from the high? Oh, yeah, it was also a VWAP from the high. Look, guys, if you just do a VWAP from the all-time high, look at that. I would say that the number one thing that, like, messed me up around this point here was the timing was off. Like, I was so robotic in my execution of waiting for Mondays, and so disciplined, and I was beaten into that position by failures, you know, like it was through many trades, thousands, hundreds of trades, mostly with BreakoutProp, but also on my live accounts, where like when I wouldn't wait for Mondays, all sorts of bad stuff would happen. So my instinct was like to respect this moment, but also to wait for the following Monday for shenanigans up at that level, you know, potentially an SFP to short back down. I just didn't get it, man. But yeah, man, beautiful call out with the 382. It was also the Q4 VWAP, and it was also the VWAP from the high. So plenty of signs there. I also tweeted about it. Spencer Logan in the chat, good to see you, bro. He says, yo, FG, hopefully this weekly red dot turns into a bull div over the next 4 months. Oh, man, I don't know if I can wait that long, man. I don't think we got 4 months left. We don't got 4 months, man. I know what you mean, though. Like, sometimes these big green dots, they may not be the literal bottom, but a lot of times they can mark, like, a psychological bottom. For instance, looking at previous, like this is a beautiful example, bro. Actually, this might track pretty cleanly. Like you get that big weekly green dot, like this one back in July of 22. And it wasn't the bottom, but you're right, dude. It was like the sign of bearish momentum, getting tired, and it was the beginning of the good things. Like from that point, you should have been looking for bull div, 100%. Same with back here. I mean, here you didn't really get that bull div. That actually was a bottom here back in 2018. And it looks like, ooh, I mean, see, look at the disparity here. Like you get the big green dot, you still came down a shit ton. I mean, this back here, you dumped from 365 all the way down to 150. So it's a toss-up whether you're going to get snake eyes or if that is the bottom. But I think your mind's in the right place, man, where there's levels to the time frames and like conceptualizing where we're at, you know. Obviously, things are very bearish and looking like shit, but the narrative for the year as a whole is that this is the year after the 4-year cycle ended. And it's actually a year to start like reaccumulating the Bitcoin that you sold over the last 2 years, right? So you can't just become this like doomer and just think Bitcoin's going to zero, but you also got to respect the downtrend. It's a little bit unfriendly to noobs because you got to like work your head around all that, you know? Good observations though, man. You guys are we got the market cipher traders in the chat. It is true, man. Retail traders are getting like way smarter. And I I mean, shit, that's what me and my brother were. Like, Wall Street's got all these crazy indicators and like they say they're so smart and stuff, but man, our dad gave a lot of money to a Wall Street guy that was a part of like his side of the family when we were growing up, and that guy lost all our money in the .com. I'm pretty sure Michael Saylor dumped on my dad and we lost my college tuition. You know what I'm saying? So when my brother and I got into markets and we made Market Cypher, like Market Cypher, this is an amazing oscillator that, you know, Wall Street wasn't come up with stuff. So the point I was making is that retail traders are like, we're actually in the forefront. We have our ear to the ground. We see more traders and what traders as a whole are thinking and what traders need. And we make the indicators and services, and we're creating the solutions for retail traders. And retail traders are getting smarter, bro. I would say that last year, like this dip in April, that was a retail trader bounce right there. I remember a lot. I mean, everybody was bullish. And if you went against everybody, you actually got wrecked because it did go up. So, I mean, I value everything that you guys say in the chat, man. Like, I love all these observations. Gray T Ghost, what's up, man? He wants me to look at the 2-day chart. If I didn't believe in you guys and I didn't believe in retail traders, like I wouldn't be doing this shit, you know? Like I'm not out here pulling the wool over your guys' eyes. Like I'm here because I believe in this stuff. Unlike some people. 2-day and 1-day look really bad. Yeah, man, it is a momentum desert, not really much blue wave action above the 0 line on the 2-day. Seeing hidden bear, substantially lower highs and flat top momentum. I feel you, man. Let's look at the daily. This daily's been messing me up lately because obviously we got a green money flow crossover, so that was making me think, you know what, maybe there actually is a resurgence of money flow coming in. But this yellow oscillator's been wishy-washy. It's been going up and down. RSIs came back down, and we just haven't seen the confirmation of any sort of like green dot clipping here. But I mean, I would watch this. The money flow did turn green, so I would. This blue wave is very important on the daily. You do have that hidden bear div once again. If you train your eyes to see it, momentum coming up, but price forming those lower highs there. Pulling up the big candle levels here, the red lines here, they're a little hard to see. I don't know if I can make them thicker, but there is a support. It's this wick right here. The December low, last month's low. You would hope for that to hold. You know, you would kind of wait to see. There's also a previous weekly low now because we're in a new week. So last week's weekly candle, if we go to the weekly chart, I always like to kind of give a sweep and then reclaim back into the weekly scale range a chance before I start getting too bearish, you know what I'm saying? So there's always a chance of like some little SFP structure and then boom, we're back up exploring inside the previous weekly candle. You could even put a VWAP on this candle, go into the smaller time frames and see where that VWAP is. And it would be right up there, right at around 89.7. So, yeah, if there is a bounce off this prior weekly low, then it would go up there, and I would be aggressively taking profits at that point. So I'll go over it again for you guys. So on February 7th, we have BKFC KNUCKLEMANIA 6, guys. I'll be in Philadelphia with CryptoFace, sponsoring Ben Rothwell, and this card is freaking amazing. You guys got to tune in. You might see me and my brother in the front row. But it's Andrei Arlovsky versus Ben Rothwell, main event. Huge, super heavyweight fight. Should be really great. And then another heavyweight bout here, Lorenzo Hunt versus Yoel Romero. This is an insane match. This match is insane. They're both pretty old, but they're both like juiced in insanely good shape. Yoel Romero, all I've seen of him in the last like year is just completely dominating and knocking motherfuckers out. He's still an absolute beast. And Lorenzo Hunt just knocked a guy out. He took a pretty bad L against Mick Terrell, who's the guy that Ben Rothwell like one shot and defeated in his last match in Philadelphia last year. But Lorenzo only lost that fight because he broke his freaking arm. Like he landed bad on his arm, and his arm literally was like limp and shit and all fucked up. So I wouldn't count Lorenzo Hunt down. Like I wouldn't count him down. He's not a bad fighter at all. Like one of his losses was like an unfortunate injury. So this is going to be an insane fight. It's like the pure power and experience of Yoel Romero with like the bare knuckle experience, the experience in the bare knuckle ring that Hunt has. So I mean, I couldn't tell you who's going to win this fight, but I don't really know these chicks, but this guy, the Cannoli guy, is a fun fighter to watch too. He's a local Philadelphia guy. Good dude with a really good head movement. Like his face is still intact because he's really good with his head. Like if you throw a punch at him, he's like actually dodging it. He doesn't just like get hit in the face. Mike Richmond, this guy's big, and he's big in BKFC. Not a lot of people know about him, but if you follow Bare Knuckle, you see a lot of his highlights. He's a good fighter. So this is probably one of the best cards I've like ever seen, bro. So we're super excited to go there. And there's a marketing lady, Rhonda Swan, who she's like the lady with the microphone. Hopefully I get a little like news segment bit. I'm really hoping to get some clout at the bare knuckle fight. So February 7th on that. But looking at the heat map here on Bitcoin. So a quick refresh on this. Okay, we got comments. Comments in the chat. Miss Baker says, hope this isn't a 2-year mini bear. The 4-year cycle is so done. We wanted the institutional money in. Everything's different. Yeah, the institutional money, like, it's strange to me that at the literal all-time high, when we came into October, created a new all-time high, the ETF inflows were at their absolute highest, like, on that day, at the literal top. So, it's like, even the institutions were, like, getting shit on. It's like insiders, you know? Like a 3-month candle sweep is super deadly. It's like you're fooling everybody with that shit, or you're at least you're not fooling everybody, but you're forcing everyone to consider. Which, if you have billions of dollars on the line, like there's movement, there's money movement there. Like that's how those big moves happen, man. Yeah, man. I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum getting chosen. Like the claw machine comes and chooses like 2 cryptos out of all these cryptos to be legit, and everything else is not. It makes the rest of the crypto space kind of suffer. And that 4-year cycle timing, man, that 4-year cycle timing has been playing out, man. It has been playing out. But like, you don't lose faith in that interim bear market year, the first year of a new cycle. You don't want to like forget about Bitcoin and like become depressed and like just think it can't go up anymore, because I know people who've made that mistake. If I had made that mistake, I wouldn't have been able to ride Bitcoin all the way up from like the end of 2022. Like I was buying Bitcoin during that bear market. I wasn't even trading. I wasn't even YouTubing. I really had nothing to do with Market Cypher except like internal operations that whole year. And I'm glad that I like was incubating. This is an incubator year. Like unless you're an influencer, like having to run a YouTube channel, you don't have to like really try to be anybody other than just like slowly stack Bitcoin and just plot in the shadows. Like the rats after a dinosaur mass extinction, bro. Yeah, man, it's not the same anymore, man. She says, theoretically, all the incoming money from institutions should long-term make the market bigger. Yes, it should. Yes, it should. But also, what giveth can also taketh. Spencer Logan asked, do any of your VWAPs mark out a target for a potential bear market bottom? Ooh, that's a good question, man. We could pool a couple of VWAPs, but it's going to vary across whatever chart you're looking at. So, if we assume that the cycle is topped out here, I would say that, would you guys agree that like an obvious VWAP we could pool would be just a VWAP from the low? So I wonder what this VWAP, where that's at. So if you pull a VWAP from the low on the Bitstamp chart, that's currently around like in the 60Ks. So we're basically just back at Trump's election pricing, pre-election pricing right there. It is still quite sloped up. And so if we did come down there, you kind of would expect a fierce reaction, just like you would on a smaller time frame. Like just how from this local high, you got that little recent rejection that we got. Think of that, but on a scale like 10 times bigger. That's the interaction on this VWAP from the low, potentially coming for sometime this year, maybe around April or the summer or something. Maybe, I don't know. You could pull previous year to dates as well. This is kind of paints a little bit of a picture here for you. So let's go to the 12-month chart and we'll slap some VWAPs here. Yeah, Spencer, I think that VWAP might be the target, man. It's so oftentimes in markets, like the most obvious thing actually plays out, you know? But let's pull some VWAPs here from these previous couple years. It just looks like you've got a lot of like rising previous year to date and VWAP from the low. You know, all these VWAPs are kind of pointing towards 50 to 65K, somewhere in there. And so that range may be just played around in. We may be down in there for a long time once we get down there, but it might actually be a strong support level there. Let me know what you guys think in the chat of is that a crazy target? Asking for 50 to 65K this year? Like if I go to these college campuses and I'm talking about Bitcoin to these kids and I tell them to buy Bitcoin in the 50 and 60Ks, is that good advice? Or am I blowing smoke up kids' asses and shit? Should I be hauled out in a stretcher? I have been building this narrative of like how to talk to Bitcoin to these college kids, because I am bullish on Bitcoin. I'm a bullish Bitcoin believer, even though we're in this awkward year. I think one day one Bitcoin could be equal to the value of like the typical median value of an American household. I don't know what that is, like 250K or 350K or something, but I think like Bitcoin will get to that at some point. A lot of these kids, they follow like people like that clavicular guy who are like, they tell you that everything's screwed and you should just vote for Gavin Newsom because his jawline's better than JD Vance's and shit. Like, when I was a kid, I was donating like money I was making as a file clerk to like Liberty candidates and shit. Like, I was idealistic. Like, I believed in liberty and freedom. I wasn't like trying to vote like a woman, you know? So these kids have like a serious lack of like belief that they'll have any chance to like do well in this life, and Bitcoin might be the solution still. Like, there's a chance that Bitcoin goes down to like 50K, maybe a little bit lower, but like 50K, and then from there it just goes up slowly over the next few years to like 350K or something. And that's what I'm gonna be like when I buy Bitcoin this year. That's like what's gonna be giving me hope, like the thought of that. Yeah, man, I'd say that VWAPs, these are your VWAPs to watch here, bro. In fact, we're already in a pinch. We are currently pinched between those VWAPs and the VWAP from the all-time high, because it's pretty established that that was the all-time high at this point. So right now we are in this pinch. You could actually like do nothing for like the majority of this year until this pinch breaks, either way. Like either to the downside or to the upside here. But it's almost like range bound from a VWAP standpoint in this little area here between 65 and 98, you know? Couple other things I want you guys just to consider here. On the Grayscale ETF chart, the price here is like totally different than a normal Bitcoin price chart. But there was this massive gap. Like, look at this gap on the ETF chart. Right there. That's a crazy gap. I was thinking that that could have been filled. But I've just been getting nothing. I've been getting hammered down, man. Absolutely hammered down. Last the last week or so. Let's pull some fibs, or it's not fibs, but some VWAPs on the Bybit USD.P chart. All right, so on this chart, we actually haven't hit the VWAP from the all-time high yet. This chart's screwing me up because it's giving me hope that we could go up there. Also, if I pull up my leapfrog, we didn't come anywhere close to a yearly leap, which Bitcoin loves to get. We didn't get the quarterly leap either on this chart. So this Bybit USD.P chart, this was a chart that was recommended by the Jason Casper crew as having the best volume data, and I agreed. Like, this chart has historically been great with its VWAPs. Let me see if I can pull like the election. Look at the election VWAP. So after Trump's election, this was the chart that really did the best job of helping you conceptualize like what the market was doing. It was like the heart of the market following Trump's election. It was the bubble that needed to be popped. It was that strong VWAP support that you really like were able to rely on until that eventual collapse back to a previous quarterly VWAP there. So This chart historically has done a good job of having pretty accurate VWAPs that actually get hit, actually get tagged. So this has just been another thing that's contributed to me getting a little bit tripped up recently. Just hoping for price to just come up like a little bit higher and then getting rejected by that 3A2 retracement. I think it was like the 100-day MA as well. Man, there was so much confluence at this little high here that I just wasn't ready to accept at that time. But yeah, man, let's pull some big VWAPs. Alrighty, so we're on this Bybit chart here. A VWAP from the low on this chart is lining up pretty similarly. It's a little bit higher than the Bitstamp chart. You're looking at like 67K. Pull some VWAPs from these year-to-dates back here. It's telling you the same thing. Think a lot of times the data is quite different because it's different charts, it's different volume. That's going to skew and pull and warp the VWAPs in different ways, especially after so many candles has progressed. Like, these are very mature VWAPs. It's like your grandmother's wine, you know, like they get better with age. A VWAP gets better with age, whereas a moving average, it's like a goldfish. Like, that old data just falls off the block. The only thing that matters with a moving average is the new data, whereas a VWAP never forgets. A VWAP is like an elephant, bro. It has like feelings. But 50 to 65K, I would say, is a solid downside target for like the next 6 months on Bitcoin, man. You know? Little bit depressing. But I could take a look at Ethereum here. Let's take a look at Ethereum. If we slap a VWAP from this low back here, it looks like Ethereum's held up here so much that that VWAP actually got pulled up. Like, look at Ethereum holding up here. That is a mature, like, strong VWAP that's held up. It's held up this high because there was so much volume up here. We'll have to take a look at some other VWAPs on Ethereum here. So Ethereum already satisfied something that I love to see in the charts, that year-to-date leap. The jump from the new year to last year's VWAP. So it kind of has already... It's already done that, man. It never got its quarterly leap. You know, it never came up and hit its Q4 leap. So, you know, if things pivot back to the upside, that would be an upside target there for you. The fact that that VWAP from that major low is all the way up here is kind of an interesting little detail on the ETH chart. What if we put a VWAP from this low? We're underneath that, so... Oof, man. I mean, the chart looks top heavy, but it's also like holding some decent levels for now. Let's look at Market Cipher. Monthly chart. Money flow on the decline here. We're underneath all VWAPs. It's a strange, dangerous place to be underneath all VWAPs. Potentially good value, but also, like, you know, given the context of what Bitcoin's potentially about to go through, this is a scary place to be for ETH. A lot of red candles in a row. Dealing with a red dot and a little bit of bear div here. on the monthly. That's a monthly bear div. Make sure you guys like the stream too. I think a lot of you guys always pop in, forget to like the stream, but like the stream if you could, man, because engagement has been down. I think a lot of traders like got wiped out or walked away, or they pivoted to gold and silver. So help your boy Groper out, man. Smash that like button. But yeah, man, ETH is dealing with a bear div under all VWAPs. This is kind of some sketchy shit. Yeah, man. I mean, look at this weekly money flow overall trending out. So, yeah, man. Yeah, Spencer's bringing up the strength ETH has over that, like, kind of lifetime VWAP. It is impressive, man. I would say it is impressive. It's not out of possibility that ETH actually holds up pretty good if Bitcoin dumps down, in my opinion. Like, ETH has its own ETF now. It is chosen. It is an institutional baby now. Maybe it does at least hold more than people think, or do slightly okay. But yeah, man, like when I look at the ETH chart, man, it does kind of look a little bit potentially like there could be cup and handle shit here. Like, I know the money flow on the macro is like pouring out, but also we're just holding nice levels. And who's to say this can't, like, man, like it would all of a sudden look really bullish if we just started turning back up all of a sudden, you know? Because it's like cup and handle shaping. Like look at this. You go up, and then you form a cup, and then a handle, and potentially a smaller handle. And like you could go into price discovery or some crazy shit. Like I'm not counting ETH out, even though it's in a tough spot. It doesn't really have much like Bitcoin tailwind, but who the fuck knows, man? Who the fuck knows? I'm not going to tell you guys I'm super certain of anything on Ethereum, but I do think it's odd that it didn't break that all-time high, and it like hasn't whatever it's got cooking, it like never even started trying. Just like Vitalik, dude, just like the founder himself. He's sitting around playing World of Warcraft all day, playing a druid. He's sitting around like playing his druid instead of being a crypto founder. And while he was being a nerd, everyone else is making all their own cryptos. And like, I think it comes from a deep-seated principle in Vitalik's heart that a crypto founder should not be the hero. He looks at like Satoshi, the one who came before him, who's a totally anonymous figure who has nothing to do with anything. You know, this like Satoshi is an invisible, non-existent person, basically. And maybe that is like a big reason why Vitalik doesn't do more. It's probably a good reason, you know. A lot of people in crypto are very like, they're almost religious about their privacy and their place in the crypto ecosystem. Oh, we got Julie Kennis in the chat. Good to see you, Julie. We're just going over Bitcoin, Ethereum, going over BKFC KNUCKLEMANIA February 7th in about 2 weeks here. So I'll be shilling this for one more week. We've got a Sunday live. I'll go live Wednesday for you guys, potentially, or some other day if I see something cool in the charts. But we'll go live this Wednesday, next Sunday, and then the Wednesday following that. So we've got like 3 more streams before this fight. But on February 7th, this card's going to be crazy, man. It's like a double heavyweight. It's almost like a double main card. This fight is crazy. These fights are crazy, bro. These are some of the craziest bare knuckle fights you'll ever watch in your whole life. Spencer Logan says, yes, that cup and handle pattern on ETH is why I haven't sold my alts. I like the way you think, man. I like the way you think. It's contrarian, and while everyone's selling their ETH in doom and gloom, you're choosing to see the good points. ETH has a lot of good points, bro. It brings in a lot of revenue. The fees have gone down to literally like nothing. And yeah, it had some issues transferring to proof of stake. The founder's a nerd and not very likable. There's a lot of like reasons that anyone could come up with for why this thing didn't form a new all-time high. Solana and like other ecosystems coming in and vamping. Hardcore vamping. It's like nobody wants ETH to win. But ETH really should win. You know? ETH is supposed to be the higher beta play. Like like the whole state of altcoins in general rests on Ethereum doing well. Like if Ethereum can't do well, no altcoin can do well. So I mean that's Ethereum's role, is like it is the flagship altcoin. It's the ultimate shitcoin. So man, if Ethereum does shitty, then that is a huge statement for the industry as a whole. That basically says that crypto is a complete scam industry and you should only pay attention to Bitcoin. And that's kind of a sad reality. Like we don't really want that reality. I don't really like believe in that reality. I don't think you guys do either, man. I mean, Ripple is another one that's like surprisingly held previous highs, like this 2021 high. We're still hanging up here, man. This thing hasn't given up yet, despite monthly momentum pouring out. 2-week money flow does seem to be declining. RSI is nowhere even close to being oversold yet. Zooming in a little more here. What happened here? We got a quarterly leap. New Year came. Beautiful quarterly leap. You know, say what you want about a coin's like larger like yearly moves. It's tough to call exactly where a coin goes on that macro scale. But when new quarters, new months begin, you do have these little opportunities where like price will run from the new VWAP to the like last quarter's VWAP. So like this is where you're actually gonna make the most money trading altcoins and Bitcoin and stuff, is like these little windows of opportunity. Other than that, it's very hard to predict. And like outside of dollar cost averaging, and especially in a year like this, a bear market, interim, beginning of a new 4-year cycle year, safe is good. The safe DCA plan, I'd say is probably going to be a winner, man. So yeah, man, even though these altcoins are looking a little weird on like some of these macro time frames, I am quite impressed by like how well they've held. Except for Solana, dude. Solana's like down at the bottom of its range though. Like you have like this macro range that Solana's been in, and we're down at the bottom of the range. So yeah, it hasn't held super strong levels, but also it's like seemingly at some good value here. Okay, here we go. This is more data here. This chart makes it look a lot more like Ethereum. Like I'm sure that the volume from the last 2 years has pulled this view up we're about to pull here. It's probably very high up. Yeah, I mean we're already nestling down on that rising VWAP from the low. Sol's just in a pinch here between VWAP from the high, VWAP from the low. It had a rather disappointing, look at this failed quarterly leap here. We got the new year, and it did make an attempt to get those yearly and quarterly leaps done, but it just didn't pan out. Didn't even hit the VWAP from its all-time high. Todd Father says, any favorite alts you like shorting? Well, I can only tell you about like things I put my money on, man. I can't just like say random shit, but shorting Zcash was a lot of fun. This was like the most obvious short of the new year. Was we were taking a previous weekly high. Where were we here? Let's see. It was like this high right here was a weekly high. And then we came up here and we took that. And that triggered my weekly SFP short entry. So we ended up taking profits at the VWAP from that previous week. So like when it came down here and hit that right there, we were out. We were also taking aggressive profits. Like we pulled a VWAP from this little low here. And we were taking profit in here as well. But that trade was taken with the larger assumption that we had this larger yearly leap. See how last year's year to date, because Zcash had ran so much, it had ran substantially from the 2025 year to date VWAP, the purple line. So you come into a new year right here. Where does it want to go? It just starts nuking to that previous year's year to date there. So that was like the most beautiful altcoin short of the year so far as Zcash. Sometimes it keeps going, man. Sometimes like the leap is only the beginning of even worse. But Zcash is at some, like, it's approaching some strong previous year to date support right now. So I don't think I'm looking to touch it right now. I'm not really looking to short much anything right now. I know that there is a lot of bearishness, but I would need a better short entry. I kind of am hoping things eventually come up on cryptos. Potentially, like going back to Bitcoin here, I would really love to see some action that confirms this previous weekly low that we just formed, like last week's weekly candle low. That could hold. If that fails, December's low, like the December range between 94.7 and 83.7, that's your range. We're still in December's range. We're basically still in December at this point. So until this range is broken, we're just still in it, man. So I'm actually like not I'm not super doom and gloom, man. I told you guys at the start of the stream, I actually have a Bitcoin call option for Feb 20 to go back up to the top of the range here. So I took that trade on the Grayscale ETF chart, which has this big gap here. So it's taken a long time to play out. I might be wrong with it, but I was banking on this gap filling on the ETF chart and like Bitcoin rotating back to the top of the range. You know, going back to the top of a weekly range is really not that much to ask for, in my opinion. And it's not the stupidest bet. I know a lot of people may call me dumb for not shorting, but to me, this is a calculated bet that I'm like super okay with losing. It's like money that I'm okay with losing. It's fine, man. Give me some other charts to look at, guys. What charts are you guys looking at? Because I'm not really a guy who, like, I know if you guys want to follow someone who loves like finding random shitcoins to short, it's Cassius Kive, bro. That guy's like the king of finding shitcoins to short. There was let's go to Crypto Bubbles, bro. Crypto Bubbles. This is a nice little site to just kind of see what's going on. I caught the Zcash short by going on here, and I saw that Zcash had pumped, and I shorted that shit on a Monday. And this was the coin that I was hoping to see up here, River. So we are now in a new week, right? So we're gonna take a look at this River coin. This is like a new shit coin that everyone's been hyping up. Typically, when you go into a new week and you see a big pump like that, you can, I mean, you want to check it first, but a lot of times you can cast doubt on it. Like, we pull up River here. We're looking at this shitcoin River that came out. So what happened here is we're in a new week. So you see this orange line here? We have formed a new previous weekly candle high. So this is a level where if we bust out of and then come back into, that's your case to trade back to like last week's VWAP, guys. So I haven't seen the signs yet. Like, we could go on the 10-minute chart and you're seeing that, like, see how the new week began here, and the high from last week is likely currently being targeted. So anyone who shorted River too early over the weekend, they are the first ones to go. They are the kid in the Willy Wonka chocolate factory getting sucked through the tube. He dies in the first 5 minutes of the movie, you know? So we come up and screw those people, because screw them. And at that point, the chart has to decide, are we going into price discovery or are we going back to the mean? And most weeks, I bet on that mean reversion. I like to see the signs on the 10-minute chart. Like, well, I'll go on Heiken Ashi candles here. And what you're looking for is, you want us to bust up over this. Sometimes it's violent too. Sometimes it goes, duh, you know, and then it's like a wick. And then it falls back into the range. And this reclaim, what you're looking for is like momentum candles, like strong, like this kind of thing. A red Heiken Ashi momentum candle with no top wick. Ideally even stronger than this one, like a strong one, like a real nice one. And if you wait for that type of motion, that type of action, there's a nice window down here all the way back down to last week's VWAP here. This is just simply a VWAP slapped on last week's weekly candle. So if you go on River, look how big last week's candle is. So you slap a VWAP on that, and there's a nice little window of opportunity there. Look at that. So, I mean, depending on how we interact around last week's levels here, typically, this is how I caught the Zcash short, was a trade just like this. You don't even want to place the trade until after you see the Heiken Ashi setup and the reclaiming back into the range and all that shit, because you don't know how volatile that sweep of last week's high is going to be. So this stop is kind of like subjective and retarded, but once you see the signs, then you place the trade and you place the stop behind that Heiken Ashi candle, and you could, in most weeks, safely target down there at that previous week today VWAP. Unless this chart's just going to hundreds of dollars and going into price discovery, but typically I bet on things going back to normal, not getting crazier. So, yeah. Silver pumped all the way up to $107. The iShares Silver Trust lagging a little behind at like 92. Still hasn't busted 100 yet, but I actually peppered some puts down here long far out, like 7 months in advance, for this to go back down to like toward its year to date. But I think my strike is like way higher up. It's like $70 or something for the next 7 months. So currently underwater in like some silver puts. It's probably a bad idea, but also I have like a long time for that prediction to play out. So this was a call I got from my brother. XLE being bullish on energy this year. I think that's a safe play. MicroStrategy getting hammered along with Bitcoin. Obviously, this chart needs that Bitcoin catalyst. Aether Market says, would you consider selling puts in SLV? Unfortunately, yes, I've already done it, bro. Unfortunately, I have already done that, and I regret it. My timing was a little off, but also, I've got time. Oh, shit, I missed your recommendation, bro. USAR, dude? What is USAR, man? A rare earth mineral stock? I think it's a great bet, man. I think this is a great... If this is what I think it is, I don't really know the stock, but my gosh, this is actually... You're recommending a solid weekly chart here with money flow coming up. Tight trigger waves. Good momentum strength. Reclaiming all VWAPs. Good momentum play. 2-week chart just getting started. Damn, bro. Nice, man. Hell yeah. That's a good one, bro. Spencer Logan wants me to look at Apple. Apple is currently dealing with a year-to-date leap. You see how we're getting the new year-to-date VWAP. Ran a little bit from last year's VWAP. It's just simply getting a little healthy correction before potentially more upside deeper into the year. But you got to give it time. You got to give it time to play out because it's probably still digging. It's still digging in its butt. Fiddly farting around. But it's not like I'm bearish on Apple. You know? Planetar, this thing's got a year-to-date leap as well. And also, the momentum has, on the 2-week here, momentum has lost the 60 line. I mean, Planetar has come a long ways, guys. I would love for Planetar to get topped out. That would be great to get this, like, healthy correction on Palantir. But, man, you never know with stocks, bro. Stocks are so... Shorting stocks... There's so many stocks, why not just look for one that's bullish, you know what I'm saying? But, I don't weigh quarterly and yearly leaps as heavily on stocks as I do on cryptos. Like, cryptos are way more choppy. Like, a crypto will go and run back to last quarter's VWAP almost every time. Unless there's some crazy fundamentals. Whereas, like, a stock or metals such as silver and gold, like, look at this thing. This thing's not going back to last quarter's VWAP, you know? Like, multiple quarters in a row of never going back to the previous quarter's VWAP. So why would you... You know, it's just... Some charts, it's just not the case. That's just not what happens, you know? So a lot of these concepts I talk about are very unique to crypto and the action I've seen in cryptos over the last few years. If I had to summarize the Bitcoin take, let's look at the liquidation heat map real quick. Damn man. So there is a lot of heat down. Heat map is like not the best indicator, guys, but there is a lot of heat behind the current low. Just simply behind this weekly low that got formed. We come into a new week, and you can see that the low was formed in last week. Then the new week comes, and it's trying to run. So there's a lot of heat down there. These people are kind of dumb for longing too soon. You know, it's like they are easy pickings in a typical week for like an SFP could just come and wipe them out, and still you could still get bullish action to the upside. So these people are these people who got in here, they could survive, but also that's not usually how I take a long trade. I would like to see this fall back down and then reclaim back in, you know? So that, I mean, that's my, it's almost like the opposite of that river setup, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, there's heat down there. There's heat down there to take, for sure. Heat to the upside as well. But I would say that I'm giving this previous weekly candle support that just formed, I'm giving it a chance, and I'm viewing it as legit support because it is a weekly level. That's like objectively like a solid support level. Just got to see how the reaction around that works. Check out Bitcoin heat. You know, this is some other evidence of, along with like the grayscale ETF gap, the gap on that ETF chart, there is a lot of heat to the upside here. Not on the 1 month chart, but if we go to like, what is it, the 2 week here? There's a lot of heat up here at these highs. These highs were weird, man. A random high on a Wednesday. Not typical. They flipped on like a different algorithm, guys. It's not usual for me, man. But yeah, other than last week's low, guys, what else you got? You got the December range low down here, and then after that, I mean, if that doesn't hold, then you're screwed. It's probably taking last quarter's low, and it's a big 3 month candle sweep. You go in the 3 month chart. It happens. I mean, it happens every quarter. So if it happens, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm going to just take my L in my February 20 call, option call, and it is what it is. Because every quarter, Bitcoin takes the previous quarter's high or low. So, yeah, man. I mean, that's like standard operating procedure there. So, hope you guys enjoyed my take. I hope you guys enjoyed my banter commentary. Make sure you guys like the stream. I do have a VIP. I actually lowered the price to $100 a month. I like raised it, but I raised it too high. I lowered it back down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bunch of exchange affiliate partnerships and just offer like trades and extra benefits for people who sign up to me under the exchanges. So, because that's, I mean, I've gone as far as I have gone. I had verifiable results on prop firms last year with like all my own money, guys. Like, yeah, I made some money with the VIP, but I invested every single dollar I made from my VIP last year. I invested it back into BreakoutProp and like marketing and like things for you guys and for like my business to continue doing well. So, everything I've done has just been like my own money, bro. But I know that that's like, I'm not going to feel like, I'm not going to feel proud over not optimizing and not doing the things I should be doing. If you're a trading YouTuber, you should have those exchange partnerships. You should be trying to get your like clients better fees, and like you should actually be milking that affiliate income, you know? So I got to do better with that. So I did lower the price of the VIP, but expect like more exchange affiliate partnerships going on in the future, guys. So that's my plan for the VIP and the trading business for the remainder of the year. As for like my Bitcoin strategy, I want to just take some of the money I make each month and buy a little bit of Bitcoin, you know what I'm saying? And keep trying to trade. I've taken a little break from BreakoutProp. Like I'm not like spamming challenges and shit right now. Just because, I mean, you guys have seen it. Like these weekly candles have been behaving a little bit differently. Like we're not getting like regular SFPs on Mondays like we were damn near every single week in October. So in November and December. So when my edge like reveals itself more, I will start slamming challenges harder. But for now, I'm enjoying like kind of chilling, and I got a lot of things going on, man. I'm planning a college tour with this like conservative group, and they had no one who like specializes in financial literacy. So I jumped on the opportunity to like get some more real life speaking opportunities. And just a lot of good things happening this year, man. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys probably on Wednesday. And thank you very much. Flop and Groper out. God bless you guys.